Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. We have to talk about BB23. This eviction was intense.
One for the record books, that's for sure. We are going to talk about Wednesday and Thursday's episode since we haven't talked about Wednesday yet.
Yeah.
But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up.
And if you want to support us on Patreon, there's a link on the screen and it's in the description as well. Join us over there. Oh, Sarah and David.
Oh, look
you
at that.
remembered.
I'm so
this
prepared,
time.
David. I'm just on top of things. Don't worry about it.
Thank you very much for including me in that tonight.
Y'all, this eviction was kind of our first blindside. And boy, could you see it.
I was blindsided by what happened.
Oh,
never
after that.
Saw that coming. That was intense. That was about to get messy on live TV.
It was. I was like yelling for a producer to like run in there and scoop him out.
You and Julie both literally yelling to get Kyland
I would
out
be
of that house.
Mortified if Julie was yelling at me like that.
Yeah. I mean, he snapped out of it. I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but he snapped out like, oh, yeah, I'm on my way.
But then he did it. He still was like, is this my water? I was like, get out of the house.
Out, leave. You don't need the water. Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Anywho, so back it up.
Yeah,
let's start with Wednesday's episode because this is where it all really starts to fall apart for Kyland.
It does, but it seems at the beginning of episode of Wednesday of Wednesday's episode that it's falling apart for Azah because she's having this conversation with DF where she's realizing that he's set up for the end of the game and she's not, and so she's kind of asking like, "Do you have a final three with the guys?" He's like, "No, final three with the guys. No. I just have a final two with Xavier and a final two with Kyland." And she's like, "Okay, so that's actually a final three that you have." The guys.
It's real close to a final three, but he's also lying. Yes, they have a final three. They've been working together forever. This is him starting to give her the heads up that she's going out. The plan was Azah was leaving in fourth place. But it's interesting here that she's like, so I should have kept Hannah then.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'd be in a better position than if I had kept Hannah.
Yeah.
And we're all like, yeah.
Yeah, you are right. That is correct.
That's correct. But we couldn't tell you that. You were in the house, so no. But then, now we're going to just start a journey on what the DF, the Big D and Kyland relationship really is here.
What is it really? And what it really is Kyland feeling very entitled to be kept safe. So entitled that he doesn't feel like he owes anybody any reassurances because he's the vulnerable one who's on the block, right? Derek F is just saying like, we're good, right? Like final two's still on. And Kyland's like, I don't understand why you would come at me with that. Like I'm on the block. That's not fair to ask.
He feels threatened by this questioning, even though we are at final four and this is absolutely the time that you, Kyland, and Big D, and also Xavier and Azah should all be making all the deals.
Every last deal.
Tie up all those loose ends.
Oh my God.
Confirm it all.
The fact, like, Kyland, yes, you are the vulnerable one. So you are the one who should be going to anybody who could possibly vote for you or use the veto on you and say, final two, I'm taking you to the end. Yes, make any promise you have to. You don't even have to make a new promise here with DF. You already have a final two with him. All you have to say is, yeah, we're good. But Kyland,
literally, that's all you have to say. And it's so ironic because in a little bit, that's all he's going to want from Xavier. And he's not going to get it as well.
Interesting.
But I'm foreshadowing here.
Yeah.
Look, the last time that you and I talked about this, like last week, we were like, Kyland's in trouble, but he is a master manipulator.
Oh, yeah.
And he has had Big D in the palm of his hands for this whole game. So a few massages, some cuddles, Kyland's going to get his way this week. No, it's not going to be that easy to get him out.
Yeah.
Yet he took a different route this entire week. He decided to not give reassurances. He decided to be antagonistic and condescending.
That is entitlement for you. That's
I
what
guess.
It looks like. That is manifested.
I think it's just bad gameplay. Yeah. If you want to win or at least get to the final two,
too proud.
Keep playing the game.
He cannot grovel. He can't ask for somebody to save him. They should understand that they should save him and he deserves to be saved. That's how he's played the game.
Oh, such a bad move here at the end. Yeah. Azah and Xavier are talking. They did a lot of cuddling and bonding over this past week, and she's sort of alluding to like, are you wanting to go against a big competitor here?
Yeah.
Dan? What are you doing?
She's basically saying, "Would you take me to the end?" Without saying that, she's couching it as like, "Are you trying to go with Kyland to the end?"
Yeah,
that's who the big competitor is here, right?
Yeah,
and so they're kind of talking about this Batman Superman metaphor that keeps coming up, and Kyland really wants this Batman Superman thing to happen. Well, Xavier, do you really want that Batman Superman thing to happen?
I mean, he doesn't give her an answer really, but she does say like, "What about a Wonder Woman?" And I was like, Xavier, make a deal with Azah. What are you doing?
It's like the one hole really in the plans that he has laid out for him to make it to the final two.
It really is.
Why not just make a deal with her?
If Azah does win this final 3 HOH, she has no reason to take Xavier. She has said she'll take Big D, but like Xavier hasn't even tried. Like he didn't even take an in to say, well, I don't know, like what could we could we make a deal? Let's talk.
Because I feel like at this point, Azah would be happy to evict Xavier if she got the chance at final 3.
Oh yeah.
So
but she will stick to her word. So if he could make a deal with her, she'd be roped into it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that doesn't happen here.
It's just vague. So then we get more of Big D and Kyland. And Kyland, again, is kind of doubling down on the strategy of trying to make Big D feel bad for not like displaying blind loyalty. Like DF is just looking for a little bit of like, yeah, we're good. We're cool. Don't worry about it. I'm with you. And Kyland won't give it to him. Mm-mm. And he's saying like, you are ungrateful.
This feels ungrateful. I made all the moves. I've already shown you that I'm loyal to you by all of this amazing stuff I've done in the game. And honestly, I kind of have to give Kyland like credit here. He's right. Kyland did make the moves.
He did.
And he did protect Big D.
But you don't say that.
But no, you can't say it.
Save that for the final 2 speech.
Yeah, not when if you are HOH, maybe.
Yeah.
If you know you're safe.
Uh-huh.
But when you are potentially a possibility to go out this week, that's not when you say, ew.
Yeah.
You just zip it and you say, we're good.
And Kyland like gets so upset he storms into the bathroom of the HOH room and then storms out. Like it's just not a behavior that is inviting of a vote to keep. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like if you're acting like this, like why do I want to save you if you're Big D, you know?
Yeah, why are you giving me a reason?
Yeah.
Kai has to leave this conversation. This isn't going well.
Right.
So Kai's gonna smell everything in the house. We don't care.
Who cares?
He's been doing it all season.
Yeah.
Whatever. Big D and Xavier are gonna touch base because Xavier really does have to convince Big D why Kyland has to go.
Yeah, he's putting in the work here because, Xavier can't cast the vote, but he needs his plan to go through and he really wants Derek F to be the one to do it, And so he's saying Azah's so much easier to beat in the competitions. Think about it that way. Like it's all stuff
like
he's
who
kind of
do you
said
want to
before.
compete against
for
the HOH? Like who do you want to go up against, Kyland? Big D's like Azah like almost beat you that one. And he's like, and Kyland has beat me this many times.
Right.
So what are you saying, buddy?
And Big D's saying things like, again, very weird strategy for the end game of Big Brother, but he's like, I don't want to sit next to Azah after she hasn't done anything all season. Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. If you want an easy win, sit next to her. If you really think that's your argument to make, which is a valid argument, what are you thinking? But
also, do you know what you did?
I know.
I
know.
did you?
You didn't. Sorry.
It's really funny just to hear Big D think that he manipulated and masterminded this whole season. And then to say, Azah doesn't even deserve to be here. She didn't do anything.
Look in the mirror.
Buddy.
Yeah. So.
CSI Vegas, don't care about
fine.
it. Great.
DF now has to circle around.
Whoops. Right? Oh, shoot. Xavier changes the plan.
The plan has changed. So actually now I'm keeping Azah.
Okay, now.
So got to smooth things over.
Now I got to.
On that front.
Oh, Azah, that was wrong of me. It's my bad. So sorry. Xavier just told me what we were going to do. Yeah, so
I thought you were going, but it turns out Kyland's going. So sorry for all of that. Like, forget I said it.
Yeah. Forget what I said earlier. Let's play this Veto.
Veto. This is, the comp we've seen many times before. It's very tricky. It did feel a little bit easier. Like maybe they adjusted the shape of the paddle at the end or something. It just didn't feel like the balls were flopping out quite, phrasing there. But we're flopping out with quite the frequency that we saw, I think on like even BB23, they played this competition. Mm-hmm. Just balls flying everywhere.
Balls flying. Yeah, there was some good masterful movements. Yes. Azah seemed to get the hang of it. Big D had a pretty good handle of it. It's really just Kyland who is like,
he's rushing.
Yeah, and just flopping those balls all over the place. Let's roll with this language, this phrasing. Let's do it. Let's go with it. Double down.
Yeah, but I think he's, nervous, desperate. He really wants to win this and he's playing too hard. And I believe it's DF who gets the first strike.
Yes.
But then Kyland boom, 1-2, and he's out. He's the first one out.
He is the first one out, and this one hurts for him. Mm-hmm. Then this oven fire, which was hilarious to watch on the show, Azah started the fire, but she does not know what day it was. Oh. And most of them don't. But she is the one that's going to get the first strike for it, and then she'll get another strike here. So she's the second one eliminated here.
And then DF gets his second strike, and Xavier wins with no strikes.
He's going to win. No, so. He had this one pretty good.
Yep. So Kyland is, of course, upset. He's worried. He really wanted to win that veto to guarantee his safety, but now, he is needing reassurances.
Oh, wait, you need reassurances? Oh, no. This conversation, I talked about it last Friday because it was hilarious. Or maybe it was Monday. Whenever I talked about it, he comes in from losing the veto, that he is raw emotionally. This is he's so mad at himself.
Yeah.
And Xavier is just like, hey, so gonna go get ready for dinner, gonna talk about veto stuff later. Okay, cool.
See ya.
And Kyland's like,
no, I need you.
And he's like, yeah, you just sit in your feet. I get it. You gotta like be in your head. Yeah. So we'll talk later. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Like Xavier tried to leave this conversation so many times, and Kyland was like, "What?
One more thing. No, sorry." And eventually Xavier has to be like, there's not really much I can say. I just have to show you. And I feel like I'm showing you, and I'll continue to show you.
Look, I can't show you till I take the veto. What's the point?
Yeah.
Till that happens, you're just, you'll be worried. But we're good. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Well, let's jump into tonight's episode then.
And I'm going to dive in here. We start with more Kyland and DF, and more of Kyland just like demanding loyalty almost. Like he's basically flat out says to DF, like, I'm just looking for some follow through from you on the final 2 deal. Like, you're asking me if we're good. I'm asking you if we're good, Derek F. So I need you to prove that you're loyal. And again, like, Derek F is just like, who's he talking to? Me? You're talking to me like that? I'm the one who's voting to keep you or evict you, and you're coming at me this strong? What? Okay.
This whole week was just so weird because, again, Kyland is not cuddling or working on Big D. He is being super condescending and straight up rude. Like, he was picking fights with Big D all week. But then Big D, because of the way he feels about Kyland, doesn't give it back to Kyland or anything.
Yeah.
He internalizes it, and then he would turn to Azah and he would pick the fights with her, and then they would fight, and he would be really rude and condescending to Azah. It was just not the best to watch this week. They were all in some weird places.
Yeah.
But what I did like is that Kyland in the DR was like, hello, Big D. We've all been making moves.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the club.
Welcome. We've voted out and lied to people we've cared about this whole time.
Well, and like truly, DF was the one without a +1, right? So literally everybody else in the cookout had to watch their +1 go. And, you know, he is making a fair point that like,
you didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
You have not had to do anything. This is the first thing that Big D has had to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is hard, but you're in the game of Big Brother, so suck it up.
Right. So DF can't quite suck it up. He's got to talk to Xavier and Azah and say, this is so hard. It's so hard. Like, how am I supposed to do this? Azah's like, why is this hard? Take me off the block. I'll make the move. I will evict Kyland. Like, don't even think about it. I'll handle it.
I love it. I love it. I almost wish he did do that so that I could do it, but
I know
it wasn't going to happen. But it's always good to know that you have a backup, because for a while I was like, okay, are they going to change their mind? Is something going to happen here? But with Azah saying, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Then we at least know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
If Big D can't do it, Azah will do it.
Yeah, I know. And, you know, Xavier's like playing it cool in this conversation, but throwing out things like, I mean, let's be real. Kyland staying benefits me because he wants to take me to the final 2. Like, just planting those seeds about like, remember, Kyland being here is not good for you. Like, secretly, it's not good for him. Publicly, it's not good for them. That's a smart move.
It's truly, I mean, that is the truth.
Yeah.
Kyland is not taking Azah or Big D to final 2. He is taking Xavier. Yeah. So Big D saying he'd rather keep, or it's hard to get rid of this guy who's not taking him to final 2. When Azah's sitting right there, 3 of them are all in a room together, and Azah is saying, I'm taking you, and Xavier is taking, like, they're all just open about it in some weird way.
Right.
And Kyland's not taking you. Like, that does make sense. I even heard some people say this was not a smart move for Xavier. I disagree. I think you do take Kyland out right here, because Kyland could win out the whole thing. So why would you risk that?
That's right.
But
the whole thing.
Some people were saying because Kyland is guaranteeing to take Xavier to final 2, he shouldn't have taken him out.
Well, I don't know. I think there's definitely a chance, and we will see this in the jury segment later in this episode. There's a chance that Kyland would beat final 2 or beat Xavier in the final 2. So I think it was the right move, because I think we're going to see Xavier as the final HOH. But before we get there, DF has kind of got to go on a little bit of a drag Azah tour. They have a little bit of a fight, and he's like, I carried you this entire time, and I have done more than you. And she's like, oh, is that so? Okay, wow. Whew. I thought we were friends, Big D.
Yeah, this thing, I mean, they gave us the softest, gentlest edit of this. Like, it was rude. It was gross. You do not need to treat people this way.
Yeah.
I don't like it. But I did like, because it did push Azah to the point where she was like, no, you know what? We're done.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. And she summed up her game. And I was like, wow, you sound better than I said your game. Okay.
Right.
Like, she's like, these are the people that I was close to. And these are the relationships I worked. And you can't tell me you saved me from it. Like, because he's like, no, I did. I saved you from Sarah Beth. And she's like, no, you did not. You had nothing to do with it. You know, like, so that's the upside, is that she finally put him in his place. But he's still mad at her.
And then he's talking trash to Kyland and Xavier both. Yeah. He goes out in the backyard and is like, Kyland, I carried Azah's ass all season, and she is an emotional burden to me. Like, what?
No.
Gross. Like, don't.
No, we don't need it. Thank you. Move on. All right, let's go to the jury segment, because that is what we do need.
What I did love at the end of this whole, like, drag Azah tour or whatever, Xavier thinking alone in the HOH room, and he's like, do not tempt me, Derek. I will get what needs to be done. And if that involves putting you on the block and letting Azah make the vote, I will do it. So I'm like, yes, Xavier, focusing on what needs to happen.
Right.
But yes.
Head in the game. He's like, these Nimrods. Let me just play the game.
Jury. Let's talk about the jury. It's so good. It's my favorite part of this season, arguably.
So good. Oh my gosh. Tiffany is going to arrive.
Woo.
No one thought it was going to be her.
No. And she's like kind of honored. She's saying that she's honored to be evicted because, you know, she was
She was
the architect of this plan. She was the threat. And she, I think she is still proud of what she achieved with this plan. Like, that's very clear from this segment.
She knows the hand she had in all of this.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yes, good for her for getting that.
Yeah.
And the jury is like, wait, Kyland did this?
Yeah.
What?
Right.
This is not a good move for Kyland. And I'm like, I know.
Yeah. Well, and Tiffany's like, yeah, we had a final too, Kyland and I.
Yeah.
So.
And I think it was Claire who was like, so keeping you and Xavier in the game going after each other would have been better for Kyland's game. And I was like, girl, you've been listening to my recaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
I did love, like, everybody's kind of groaning at Kyland winning everything. He wins the HOH. And, Tiffany's like, I was kind of fine with him winning the HOH because we had this final too. And they're groaning at him winning BB Comics. I'm loving Brittany's reactions to everything along the way. And I just am loving the way this jury is communicating. Like, there really is, the person who's headed to jury next, of course, is bitter. But these people are, like, still in it and enjoying the game.
Yes.
And, like, having fun, like, watching these moves and analyzing and learning about the cookout and all of this stuff. Like, and Claire's saying, like, listen, I'm not impressed with winning competitions and then making bad moves that aren't good for your game. So, like, I'm not necessarily that wowed by what Kyland is doing.
That's smart.
Yeah. Meanwhile, DX is like, I don't really know who I would vote for. If it's like Xavier or Kyland in the final two. But I just loved when Tiffany finally spilled all of the tea on the cookout and, making history and all of that. And they're all eating it up and they love it and they respect her. And it's just great.
It is. It's so exciting that they all realize what had happened. They all feel like lucky to be played and to be a part of the historic season and then to get the info. And they're so supportive. And then Tiffany's like, and then I created the plan.
I created the master plan. And they're like, what? We bow to you.
And of course she did. Like, DX and Claire would have probably been able to figure that out if she did that. But like, it's so great that she gets the credit. She gets these props in, like, from the jury, but in the edit, like all around loved this. Yeah. And
she admitted, like, we all individually probably would have rather have been loyal to our duo.
Yeah.
But we ultimately were more loyal to the goal. And that's why we're where we are. And they're like, respect, mad props. This is incredible. You're a legend. Like, they could not be happier about all of it.
And then they're like, hey, guess what? Also, it's a double.
Yeah. Brittany has an aneurysm. She can't handle it anymore.
Thank you, Brittany. Thank you for your service and all that you do for us in the jury. So now Hannah's going to walk in and join. Yeah. And I think we didn't get to see all of Tiffany's reaction, but I just feel in Tiffany's heart, she was like, oh, crap.
She knew. Yeah. She knew. She makes a comment like, we were interchangeable, clearly. If it wasn't me and then Hannah, it was going to be Hannah and then me. So this was inevitable. And Hannah's a little bit still, I think, more in shock than Tiffany is to be out of the game. Like, you can tell in her, like, little interview sound bites where she's like, I'm still processing that I'm not in the game anymore, but, whatever. Like, I'm proud to have been a part of getting the six to where they were.
Yeah, she did go out in a hectic way.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what?
Yeah,
like, that's a hard way.
Especially having to rewatch Azah winning the HOH, right?
And they're like, why? Why?
Brittany, this is Brittany. My girl. My girl, did you see this? She was like waving tears. She's like, Azah finally won something. Like, she's so proud of her. I was like, Brittany, God, you are gold.
Yes, we were all excited that Azah finally won something. But then they're like, she didn't put up X and Kai?
Tiffany is like almost becoming better than Brittany in these stories because she's like, this is Big Brother. You break deals. Break the deal with Kyland. Like, what are you talking about?
But also good on Kyland for making that deal. Like, I was glad Hannah had this information to give out. Mm-hmm. But so I don't know. Yeah, we, the producers again are going to give us sound bites from everyone. We're loving this. We're not loving this. Yeah. Sarah Beth by the minute is more and more against Kyland. By the time Kyland shows up, he's in trouble. Now, I should say, just to be clear, Kyland will not join the jury.
Right.
He will meet them at the round table.
Yeah.
It'll be just the round table. And then they all go into basically sequester into individual hotel rooms until the finale. So he's not going to get the full impact of Sarah Beth, full impact of Tiffany and Hannah.
And he's also not going to get to really control a jury. Not that I think he was going to have that ability either way. Like Tiffany is going to be puppeteering this jury. But, you know, she will get that even more because Kyland is going to show up for that kind of final discussion and then be separated from everybody. So then we go.
All right. Here's the moment.
Buckle up.
Here is the moment. I was actually already anxious because I knew it was a blindside.
Yeah.
And we know that Kyland is not a chill, go with it dude, right?
No.
He has had moments, like we've had doubles where he was put on the block and he didn't want to be. Like moments where he is attacked, he does not handle well. Right. And he is about to be blindsided. So I was already nervous.
Yeah. I mean, it is that entitlement, you know, it's doesn't sit well with people like that when something doesn't go their way.
They genuinely are like, do you know who I am?
No, literally.
Like deep down, I think that's what he says.
Yeah.
Fred, thank you for the super chat.
We love you. I agree. Tiffany for America's Favorite House Guest. Let's give her that $50K.
I think I'm on board. I think I'm voting Tiffany.
Yeah.
I support whoever you guys want to vote for, though.
Sure.
I'm not telling you how to vote. That means you don't get to tell me how to vote.
Hey.
Oh, but I think right now it's Tiffany. We'll see. You get to do it once a day.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll change my mind. But
there you go.
Right now it's Tiffany.
Me too.
Okay. Well, X is going to stand up first.
Yeah. And he is a man of few words in this situation.
He's not even going to go to the head of the...
No, and he's not going to give any kind of speech, any kind of reasoning. He is just going to choose not to use the veto. Period. End of story.
Okay. Veto's not used. Great. Okay, Big D, you get to listen to these speeches.
Yeah.
Speeches were lovely.
Love Azah's in her finale dress. I will say that. I was like, you're in the yellow dress.
She is in the yellow dress. That's
like,
right. I forgot about that.
Okay, she must have maybe thought she was going here, you know, like she's unsure. She was saving that yellow dress.
The feeds went down so early today, so I didn't hear her talking through it, but she should have known, but maybe just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah. She looked great. She gave a lovely speech.
She did.
You know, expressing how much she loves Big D and they will be friends after this and all that kind of stuff. Kyland is, you know, giving it up to his family and friends and wouldn't be here without them. Like, no harsh words.
No, I don't think he knew he needed to say anything because remember, he just has Big D in the palm of his hands and the gentlemen are running the whole show.
And he deserves to stay. So he's going to stay.
Yeah. Well, nope. Big D is not only going to stand up at the front of the room, but he's actually going to say every word clearly and correctly.
He even said, I vote to evict.
He sure did.
He saved it for the moment, you guys.
He did. And then he said Kyland, and Kyland was like, huh.
I mean, I did love Derek F saying, I don't owe anybody anything, and I play this game for myself. I vote to evict you, Kyland. Like, that is like, this message is for you,
parentheses, because Xavier told me to.
Yeah. Right.
But I do.
Kyland doesn't need to hear that.
But for myself. So how about take that? Well, Kyland knows who to direct all this to. He pretty quickly is like,
oh, he wants
Xavier.
He wants answers right then and there.
But what? And Xavier is like, this is his MO since day one. He was like, I don't do conflict.
Yeah.
I want to easily slide through this game.
Yeah.
And I'm saying nothing to you, Kyland. This is when you walk out the door. This is what you do.
Ushering you out the door. I am inviting you to go.
Here we go. Let's all walk this way.
And Kyland will not step out that door. He wants to know why this happened. And Xavier's he's just like, you'll see. You'll find out.
Yeah. He's like, it's a game. You'll see. It's a game. But Kyland is like, no, I sit for hours and have conversations. I will not walk out the door. I mean, at one point I was like, where is the producer?
Where are they going? I know. But
He's
they were like,
never going to leave.
You know, they're like milking it for as long as they can. You know, they want this moment Up to a point.
Up to a point.
But,
because then when Kyland tells Xavier he needs to set a better example for his nephew.
What about Kobe? He's named after Kobe. And really? You're naming your nephew after Kobe and you behave like this?
What?
You're his role model? Xavier's mood shifts, right? He's like, taking a step closer. I suggest you stop talking about my nephew. And Kyland will not drop it.
Yeah, Kyland is like, yeah, no, I mean, but don't you want to raise him like to have I like honestly, what are you saying at this point, Kyland?
It's
what are you even saying? Like Big D's that like Azah's stepping up. Big D's like, but then we're just gonna go, right?
Yeah.
We're just gonna
yeah.
What?
No,
and then
he's twisting the
Julie is like yelling,
Kyland, 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 I need you to leave right now, Kyland. And he's like, okay, oh yeah, no, I'm leaving. But is this my water? Is that? And they're like, get out, like just go.
You don't need your water. What are you doing? Like he just could not bring himself to leave. He couldn't fathom ever being evicted. Like he was winning this game. Oh my God, it was so intense. I mean, honestly, the fact that Xavier even stepped up. Because like I probably would have just been like, you're a moron, and I would have left. But I love that Xavier stepped up and was like, oh, what are you saying?
Are you talking about my nephew?
Like I don't think there was going to be a brawl because they're both fairly peaceful people.
But his body language is like,
shut it down.
I'm about to deck you if you don't see yourself out.
See yourself out. Because in a couple days, I'm going to tell you I'm a lawyer and expect a cease and desist order from me. I'm suing you for everything you're not making.
Yeah, that's right. It was so intense. I cannot remember an exit like that where someone is just ignoring the protocol of the game. You have moments to say your goodbyes and leave. You know, that's how this always goes. He's making himself right at home to get those answers.
You think that you are bigger and more important than Julie Chen Moonves?
No.
No, you are not. None of you are. Sorry.
Yeah.
You think you are bigger or better than Allison Grodner, who is on a headset right now?
Yeah.
No, sir.
But up until that moment, Grodner's like, let it play out.
Yeah.
Let it play out.
She's like, let's see where it goes.
Play out. And then there's the moment where they're like, okay, cut it. And Julie's like, Kyland!
Which did kind of shake him a little bit, but he still did not.
He snapped
want
like
to
he
leave.
was in a different place, right?
Yeah.
Like you could see him kind of like snap back to like, oh, I'm supposed to I just got evicted. I have to leave the house, So he walks out, and there's a little bit of sheepishness in his smile, as he's trying to put on this happy face now that he knows he's sitting across from Julie Chen Moonves and has to do his exit interview, and he's facing America now, right?
Okay, wait, pause. We just got 14,000 super chats, so we were so caught up in the retelling that we didn't get to individually thank you, but thank you all for the super chat.
Yes,
I feel you, and I appreciate it. But there is a glassy-eyed. There is a new look in Kyland's face, even though he's trying to be a polite person.
Yeah, he's smiling through. You can see the rage behind his eyes.
Yeah.
And his brain is still in that house.
Yeah. He's genuinely can't believe that he is sitting out here with Julie. And ultimately, you guys, he wants a winner with honor. With honor.
Why would Xavier be a coward like this? Why wouldn't he give me a heads up? He's so hot. He can't calm down. Julie's trying to get him to see the error in his game a little bit. She's saying,
she brings up everything I've brought up all week of why weren't you working on Big D?
Why didn't you just give him assurances?
Yeah. You didn't give him one massage.
And Kyland's like, well, I would have been lying if I would have been giving him assurances.
Really?
So,
what do you call what you did with Sarah Beth?
Nope.
What'd you do with Derek X?
Nope.
What, any of this ring a bell?
Any of those?
But now all of a
lies?
sudden, we don't lie.
Now you have honor.
I just honestly don't fully, because out of this Final Four, he was the best player. He won several things. He was able to make moves And he manipulated the crap out of Sarah Beth. That was a game changer, what he did to Sarah Beth.
Yeah.
And she was genuinely going to put up 2 members of the cookout or Xavier and Alyssa. Like, Xavier doesn't even know that Kyland saved him.
Yeah.
What Kyland has done some great stuff in this game. And for him to just give up on his game this week, I don't understand what happened.
The one thing that he says he wishes he had changed is that he had just talked to Derek F. more.
Right.
Not necessarily assured him, made any promises that he couldn't keep, but he wished that he had talked more. And this is what Xavier said to Kyland on the way out the door. I couldn't tell you because you would have talked to Derek F. more and you would have worked your way out of this. I had too much respect for you as a player. And that he's right. Like,
absolutely. The fact that
the amount that Kyland can talk, it would not have been that hard to convince Derek F.
Oh no. And if Kyland had fully understood that he was in danger, he would have done the work and maybe saved himself. I still feel like he should have done the work anyway. Like, why not?
Yeah.
Just like Xavier, make a deal with Azah. Like, just do these things to cover yourself. Why not? If you're still in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, that's why Xavier doesn't want to tell you. Also, Xavier doesn't like conflict. So he thought that Big D could evict you and then he would avoid conflict. But Kyland was like, nope. Challenge accepted.
You knew this was happening, Xavier. He suddenly had all this clarity. Then we get these goodbye messages. And everyone is pretty nice in these goodbye messages. Azah loves him so much. Derek F. is apologetic, but you stuttered at the final 2 deal, buddy. Like, you made me a little bit nervous. Sorry.
Yeah.
Xavier says, you are the best. I couldn't beat you. I had to get you out now. Love you like a brother. I don't know if that's true anymore. That feels like a dated message.
That was
at this point
out of date.
Yeah.
No longer true. I don't feel, or at least not in this moment.
No.
We'll see. I feel like this is just a real embarrassing exit for Kyland in general. I feel like his odds of being asked back got massively lowered, and that is something he talks about a lot.
Yeah. Oh, and he says it to Julie.
Oh, yeah. Then he says it to Julie. She's like, come back for the finale. He's like, I hope it's not the only time I come back.
I would love to play again. I love this game.
What power position are you in right now?
Who wants to see you back at this point?
Sorry.
Not that you would have left as even close to America's Favorite House Guest or a loved house guest really at all. Like, I don't know how many Kyland stands there are out there, but you kind of guarantee that you are a hated house guest now.
Yeah, this was a rough way to end your Big Brother career.
Yeah.
It's not a good look, but he did it. So
he did it.
And we will see him for the last finale night with the round table and whatnot. But until then,
he will not win America's Favorite House Guest. He will not win that $50,000.
I will put money on that.
Yeah.
You guys, it is time to vote for America's Favorite House Guest. It is $50K this year. Everything has been bumped up.
Love it.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
You get to text 1 time a day, but every day. So keep it up. Do it.
Now, what's the runner-up prize?
For final 2 runner-up, it's $75,000. Right?
Okay. They bumped that up by 25?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay. So 750, 75, and 50. Got it.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah. Very exciting.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can talk endgame more later, but
we will.
Xavier has got a pretty good route here to the end.
Yeah.
He is going to be looking sharp standing up there next to either one of them, although it'll probably be Big D.
Yeah.
But there is a possibility that Azah can win her way to the end.
Sure. She could.
That would be
I think that's the only way that we don't see
Xavier
in the final 2.
Right.
Because DF will take him.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Wow. What an eviction.
What an eviction. That was
We did get a
wild.
Juicy blindside.
We did.
We got it.
Yeah.
We got it.
As much as some people are saying like, oh, this is a snoozy season because it's been so predictable. And yes, definitely to a certain extent the cookout has gotten their way. But finally, Kyland did not get his way. And boy, was it intense.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, to look at our final 6, to look at the cookout, Tiffany, Hannah, and Kyland going out first, second, third is pretty huge. Those are the 3 best players of the cookout.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. 3 who could have beat Xavier in a final 2 scenario.
Potentially. I mean, Xavier has not upset anybody until right now with Kyland.
Right.
But so he's got a great social game that could win it for him.
Yeah.
But those are the
strategic.
The 3 players who I feel like really had their hand in stuff and were making things happen. So it's impressive on Xavier's part to get those 3 out.
And, I got to say, as much as I do not think that Azah should win this season based on who, Xavier should win in the final 3, right? In my opinion. But I'm glad that it's not the 3 guys in the final 3. I'm glad we got 2 guys and a woman. Sorry about it. I like a little gender diversity. So I just am happy that we didn't see the men steamroll the women in this, last little stretch. We saw Xavier kind of take a stand and say no.
Yeah. And I mean, Xavier sitting next to 2 people who are basically goats. I mean, that's a great place to be.
It's like he's positioned himself better than Derek, right? Because Derek, Cody wasn't a goat.
No, but
he was an easy beat. But he actually
good position,
had comp wins and stuff to talk about. I don't really know what. I mean, Derek F, I'm sure will have a speech prepared. He will.
I mean, I can't wait for Big D to stand up at the final 2 and give his speech because he is convinced that he has done so many things. So he will say them. He is going to say, I manipulated and masterminded all of this stuff. I want to know, are people going to just laugh that off?
You've got Tiffany in the jury who's going to check you, Derek F.
Or, are people going to be like, did you? Because I don't think you did.
Because I sat in the jury for a couple weeks with Tiffany, and I think she ran everything. So until Xavier ran the end of the game.
Yeah.
So.
David, you're pretty set in winning the draft.
I know. I feel good about that.
You feel good about that?
I feel good about that.
My team is gone. I lost it with Kyland.
I know.
Oh, well. It was a good run.
Yeah.
It's a good run. I got good points, but was not going to win it this year. It happens. Happens to the best of us, guys.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Friday night, tomorrow night, there is a clip show of sorts.
Right.
They've got family videos, I believe they said.
Yeah.
Sunday night, we will see part 1 of HOH.
They'll probably start part 1 on Friday, right? At the end of it, they'll show us 3 minutes of part 1 of the HOH. They usually do that. And then, we'll see the completion of part 1 on Sunday.
Then Wednesday, we have the finale. We have
2 hours.
Yep, that's happening.
Yeah.
So David and I will be back live after the finale on Wednesday. I will be here Monday. I'll be here tomorrow if there's anything on the live feeds. Not sure if we're going to get anything.
Yeah.
But if there's a HOH or any
when do they play
spoilers,
that? Do you know?
Usually it's over the weekend.
Okay.
So if they play it tomorrow or if they're playing it tonight, I don't know.
Yeah.
I will definitely have live feed spoilers, but I will definitely have them on Monday and Tuesday to talk more about Endgame and stuff like that. Yeah. So definitely stay tuned, and we'll see you then.
Can't wait.
This has been what a season.
It's one for the books, season. For sure. It is historic.
You guys in the chat, thank you. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for all of the opinions and insights. We appreciate it.
The super chats are so appreciated. Thank you again for all of those. And for those of you joining us later, you can leave us your version of a super chat in the form of a comment on this video. Let us know what you thought about that Kyland eviction, and what are your predictions for the end game? How do you see a path for all 3, or is it inevitable for Xavier? Let us know your thoughts.
Yep, that's right. Azah could win an endurance comp. That's true. We will see. Yeah. Thank you guys.
Right? Thank you guys.
We'll see you next time. Bye.